Well, hello out there in the Pilates stratosphere. Today I am riding solo. I'm doing my first ever solo episode of Pilates Elephants. So love to know your feedback. How does this land for you? What I would like to talk about today is how to make $100,000 in a year teaching Pilates from home. And the reason I want to talk about this is probably the most common question I get after how do I help someone with a sore back is how do I make basically some variation of how do I make more money teaching Pilates. Now, there are many ways you can make money teaching Pilates, and this is one of them. There are also many ways that you can fail to make money teaching Pilates, and maybe you've discovered some of those. So here is a way that I know that works to make $100,000 in a year teaching Pilates by yourself from home. Now, this is the strategies I'm going to outline today. I didn't make up any of this stuff. I didn't create any of it. I'm passing on things I've learned from other people, things I've learned from experience. And this is for a very particular setup. So this is for someone who wants to run an in-person sessions from their own home. So whether that's from your spare bedroom or your garage or the shed out the back or whatever it might be, or your basement. This is someone who wants to run in-person sessions from home. And you're going to need to be able to squeeze 4 clients at the same time into your space. Now, I'm going to talk about strategies about how you can do that through the episode, but basically, this is for somebody who wants to run in-person sessions from home. All right. So the basic premise here, if we do just the basic math, is that if you have 40 clients paying you $49 a week, that equals $100,000 a year. So we need to get 40 clients paying you $49 a week, and there is your 100,000. Now, I'm talking in dollars here. Am I talking in Australian dollars or US dollars? And what is that in euros or pounds or rupees or pesos? Well, I think the principle is the same. Now, obviously, if you live somewhere that is very economically depressed, this is going to be harder. Because you're drawing from a catchment of your local, people in your local area. And if you're in an area where people don't have as much money, this is not going to work as well, or it's going to be harder to make it work. So this is not a business plan that will suit everybody. So if you're in an economically depressed area, this is not the business plan I would recommend. I would recommend you do something online, because then you're not limited to only working with people in your area. You can find people anywhere in the world who can afford to pay a good price for your sessions. So having said that, this is, we're aiming to get 40 clients paying $49 a week on a direct debit. And those clients collectively are going to pay you $100,000 a year, or about $9,100 a month or something like that. If my math is correct, let me just check that. 100,000 divided by 12. It's $8,333 a month. So the basic premise is, well, there are a few things that you're going to need to put in place in order to make this work. The first one is getting people in to the front end of your system. So when I say the front end, I mean like how you acquire clients. So I'm not going to go into lead generation, like how you sort of get the message out. But once you get inquiry, because that's a whole nother topic we could spend a whole episode on, which I may well do in the future. But for today, we're going to assume that you've got people inquiring. We'll talk a tiny bit about lead generation. But once you have somebody that you can show your offer to, we're going to start with a killer front end offer, and then get people. A front end offer is just an offer that gets them in the door. Some people call it an intro offer. A lot of Pilates places do first class free, or 5 classes for $50, or first 2 weeks for $20, or whatever. So there are lots of versions of a front end offer. And, they all have their strengths and weaknesses. And the one I'm going to recommend to you or share with you today is absolutely killer. I think it's way better than most of the offers that are out there in the Pilates world. And I got this from the gym world, actually. This is something that works very, very well in the gym world. All right, so we're going to get clients in with a killer front-end offer, and then we're going to on-sell them to a ongoing monthly recurring direct debit where they'll pay you $49 a week or $196 every 4 weeks, and you will give them 2 sessions per week for that. So they'll get a session for $24.50. So $49 a week, $24.50 per session. So that's the basic mechanics. All right. So the first fundamental shift that I think you're going to need to make, if you're like I was, when in order to implement something like this, is you need to understand that you're not selling Pilates. People don't give a shit about Pilates. I mean, you do, I do. That's why we're here together. But apart from us, no one gives a shit about Pilates. Your clients don't care about Pilates. They want their problems solved. Now, what problems can we solve with Pilates? We can solve many problems, but not all problems are created equal. Now, you could solve the problem of helping someone live longer, which Pilates will do. You could solve the problem of helping someone have better mental health, better energy. We can solve all of these problems. But I would suggest that the most urgent problem that we as Pilates instructors can solve for most people is going to be back pain. And why do I think back pain? Well, firstly, back pain is incredibly common. So wherever you are in the world, there are definitely lots of people within, stone's throw of you who have debilitating back pain. Something like 84% of adults suffer from back pain at one point in their life. So back pain is incredibly common and it is incredibly debilitating. It is the number 1 or 2 cause of days lost to work worldwide. I can't remember whether mental health or back pain is number 1 there, but basically it's right up there as one of the biggest causes of absenteeism in work worldwide. So it affects people's lives. It really impacts their ability to make a living. And so this becomes an urgent problem, okay? When your back is just a bit sore, that's one thing. But when it actually stops you from going to work, well, imagine all the other things it stops you from doing. It probably stops you from playing with your kids, from doing your valued activities like sports or gardening or bird watching or, whatever it is that you normally enjoy doing. You can't do it at all or, with as much enjoyment when you have debilitating back pain. So it becomes an urgent problem that is highly prevalent. So that is a good sort of problem to solve for people, because when people are in that much pain, they are highly motivated to do something about it, and therefore they're highly motivated both to pay what it costs to fix it and also to do the work that is required to fix it. So if someone is willing to pay and willing to do the work, then they are going to be a good client and they're going to get the result. So that's why I really love back pain for Pilates as a front-end offer, because it's super common. And it can be very debilitating, and it can be one of those, figuratively hair on fire problems that people just can't think straight until they solve it. So it's something that, they will. I mean, I've worked with more than 10,000 clients, with back pain, and I can tell you, if somebody believes that you can help them, they don't even ask the price. They just a lot of the time they just pull out their credit card. They're like, how do I start? Once they believe you can help them. So, these are the best kind of clients to have because they're desperate to find a solution, and they will do whatever you ask them to do in the way of exercises or sessions and things like that. So back pain is what I recommend. Now, there are other things you could do. There are lots of things you could help people with, but I think that if you choose a different problem to back pain, it would have to be something, one, equally common, and two, equally urgent. And I can't really think of anything in the Pilates world that we can help people with, that we can truthfully claim to help people with through Pilates that fits that bill. Like in the gym world, it's weight loss. But I think that's not something we can truthfully claim that Pilates is going to make a difference for people, unless you're giving dietary advice and all kinds of stuff. So, I think back pain is a fantastic problem to solve for people. Now, what I'm talking about, I'm not talking about like only ever helping people with back pain. This is what gets them in the door, right? Now, you probably know, dear listener, from your own experience starting Pilates, like people start Pilates for one reason and then they continue for different reasons, right? So they might come to get rid of their back pain, but they'll stay for the benefits to their mental health and their energy and their, joy of living and their flexibility and their posture and all of those things, right? So the reason people start is not necessarily the reason people continue. And so when we say you're going to solve the problem of back pain for people, yes, that's what I recommend to get people in the door. Because if you say to somebody, hey, I'm going to help you have better mental health, or I'm going to help you de-stress, or I'm going to help you have more energy, or I'm going to help you, have better posture, or I'm going to help you, live longer. Like all of these things are amazing benefits, and we can truthfully, promise those things with Pilates, but they're not as urgent as back pain. Okay. When you feel stressed, you feel shitty, but it's not the same as having someone stabbing a red hot ice pick into your back so that you literally can't get off the sofa. Debilitating back pain is way more urgent. It's way more front of mind for people than any other problem that, we can solve, in my view. So that is why I recommend back pain. And this comes after 2 decades of thought about this. I can't find a better problem that we can solve. All right. So hopefully you're convinced that back pain is something that we can and should help people with. All right. Now, why should you solve just one problem? Why not solve all of the problems? Well, inherently, when you focus on one thing, you get better at doing that thing. You will get better at helping people with back pain if you help lots of people with back pain than if you just help some people with back pain and some people with neck pain and some people with stress and some people with whatever else. So you'll get better at it, and you'll actually get better results for people by being a specialist in one thing. The second thing is you'll actually get more clients. Pilates Studio A, we help all people from 8 to 80. We help all people with all things. We specialize in helping all people. Come do classes with us. Pilates Studio B, if you have debilitating low back pain that's preventing you from going to work, we will fix that. That's all we do. You've got debilitating low back pain that's preventing you from going to work. Which studio do you pick? Okay. It's a clear, point of attraction. When you specialize in the specific problem that someone has, they immediately have way more trust that you're going to be able to solve that problem compared to someone who's a generalist. If you have some kind of rare disease, right? Do you want to go to a general practitioner or do you want to go to a specialist in that disease? When you want to activate your core, do you go to a Pilates instructor who's been trained in that, or do you want to go to just a general fitness trainer who's a generalist, right? People are immediately more trusting and inherently more trusting of someone who's a specialist in the specific thing that they have an interest in. So that's why I think you should specialize in one thing. And I think that thing should be back pain if you want to make this business model work. All right. Now, could it work with other things? Yes, it could work with other things. I think it's just going to be way easier with back pain for all the reasons mentioned. All right. So we are going to make a front end offer. Now, what is a front-end offer? A front-end offer, now this is stuff I've learned from various books and courses and masterminds and implemented in my own business. I'm currently implementing a lot of this in my own business. I've implemented in studios I've run. I've worked on it with private clients. So this is, stuff that I have learned at great expense, both from making terrible mistakes and losing literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, but also through investing in masterminds and courses. Like I'm currently in the last 3 months, I've spent about 60,000 US dollars, no more, probably 80,000 US dollars on training in business. So this is very expensive information that I am imparting for you. I'm sharing with you. So this is, I'm currently a member of 3 mastermind groups, all of which are multiple 5 figures to be a member of in US dollars. So anyway, this is where all this comes from. I didn't make any of this up. But I think what I think I'm able to do for you, I hope I'm able to do for you, is to contextualize it to Pilates. All right, and this is proven stuff that works, time after time after time after time in the fitness world. And there's absolutely, and I've seen it work in the Pilates world as well. There's absolutely no reason you cannot make it work unless you live somewhere where there aren't people who can afford this level of cost, in which case I recommend you do an online model. And we'll talk about that some other time. All right, so we're going to do a front-end offer. And the front-end offer is really, it's a killer offer that is so incredibly good. It's an offer so powerful, so much value that the people just feel stupid saying no, right? So this is not like, oh yeah, good value. This is like, holy cow, how can they offer all that for just this much, right? So this is the offer where people go, I would be an idiot to say no to this right now, right? So what we're going to offer is a free 6-week challenge, okay, to eliminate your back pain. Now, here's how it works. When you sign up, it's actually a $300 deposit, okay? And when you do all the sessions for the 6 weeks, you get your deposit refunded, right? So basically you come, in 42 days, we will get rid of your back pain. Now, you have to do all the things, right? So we're going to do 2 sessions a week, and I'm going to give you a little bit of homework. It's not going to amount to much. It's going to be maybe 10 or 15 minutes per week of homework. Okay, and there's going to be accountability at every session. You're going to show up to all the sessions, do all the homework, and then in 6 weeks, when you've done all of those things, I will give you your $300 back. Okay, and if you haven't done all of those things, I will keep the $300. Right. So basically, our incentives are aligned. Right. You as the client is highly incentivized to do all the sessions. Right? Because then they get the sessions for free if they do all the sessions. That's amazing. They get their $300 back. And there's loss aversion, which is even more powerful than getting it for free. That's actually, they don't lose their $300. So you sign them up. They give you $300 on their credit card, or you take a deposit on the credit card, or whatever it might be. And you hold that. You don't spend it. You put it in an account. It's not yours yet. Okay. And you say, okay, here's the plan. I will help you get rid of your back pain in the next 42 days, which is 6 weeks, 6, 7 is 42. And here is how we're going to do that. Okay. We're going to do 2 sessions per week on this day and this day at this time. Okay. Monday and Thursday at 6 p.m. or whatever days. Okay. And those are going to be 45-minute sessions, and they're going to be exercise sessions. And the first few minutes of those sessions, there is going to be an accountability moment. So there are going to be 4 on one session. So there'll be 4 clients in the session. You'll be one of 4 clients. And we'll have an accountability moment where you will share what you've done for your homework. And I'm just going to give you, like I said, 10 to 15 minutes worth of homework each week. And the homework is going to be around non-exercise things that people can do to help their back pain. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. So that's basically the shape of it. It's 2 sessions a week for 6 weeks. They're at a set time on set days, and there is about 10 or 15 minutes of homework each week to do. And it's $300 to sign up, but you don't, and you as the business person don't spend that money. You put it in a separate account. And when the client shows up for all of their sessions and does all of their homework, they get their money back at the end. That is the deal. There's no asterisk. There's no special conditions. The only thing is they have to do the work. If they do the work, they get their money back. Now, and you will get rid of their back pain, right? So not only do they get rid of their back pain, they get rid of the back pain for free. And all they have to do is do the sessions, right? And so at this point, maybe, dear listener, you're thinking scratching your head and going, well, how the fuck do I make any money if I have to give all the money back? Well, here's the genius of it, right? Because at the end, so you do this program for 6 weeks. Now, what do you do in the program? Well, you just do freaking Pilates in the program, right? What is the best exercise for back pain? It is Pilates, and it is general Pilates. So just strengthening all of the bits in all of the directions, moving the spine in all of the directions, working the arms and the legs, all of those good things that we all know and love how to do, all of that, whether you're on mats or reformers or Cadillacs or spring walls or barrels or balls or whatever. And I'll talk about equipment in a bit, but really which equipment you use doesn't matter. Which specific exercises you use doesn't matter. You just need to, to strengthen and stretch those clients in every direction, and give it a good, give them a good workout, a good, fair, moderate to vigorous workout, based on moderate or vigorous relative to their fitness level, twice a week for 6 weeks. Plus, give them a little bit of homework, which we'll talk about directly. And at the end of that 6 weeks, you say to them, dear client, okay, congratulations, Mary, you have, showed up for every session. You've done all of your homework. I will joyfully refund your $300. Or if you prefer, and by the way, Mary, how are you feeling after 6 weeks? Oh, I'm feeling fantastic. Thanks for asking. I'm feeling taller and leaner and longer and stronger. My back's not hurting. I've got more energy and I'm feeling great. And I like the way I look in the mirror and I haven't been yelling at my kids. Life's wonderful. I love this Pilates stuff. Well, Mary, seeing as you love it so much, the other thing I could do, instead of refunding your money, I could actually apply it as a credit and we could continue our sessions at $49 a week for 2 sessions. And we could do those sessions at the same time, same day. And that would buy you 6 weeks of sessions. So we could do another 6 weeks for zero money. And then after that, it'll be $49 a week. And we'll bill you every 4 weeks. What do you say, Mary? Does that sound like a good plan to you? Yeah, that sounds awesome. Let's do it. Great. Well, I'll see you next week, Mary, for your session, same time, same day. So that is how you sign up people into an ongoing open-ended direct debit agreement. You convince them you can help them by actually helping them. So you get them into this front-end offer that is $300 down, and the $300 is very important, is rather than giving them just totally for free, okay, because the $300 is what gets them committed, okay? They're highly motivated to do the sessions, to do the homework, to show up and do all the things because they want their $300 back, okay? The $300 is very important. And at the end, right, they already spent the $300. The $300 is not in their wallet, okay? You have the $300. And all you're saying is, hey, why don't I just hang on to that $300 and give you credit for 6 weeks? $300 is 6 weeks of classes, right? So you can come another 6 weeks just like you did for free, basically, okay? And then after that, it's $49 a week, okay? That is going to be the easiest sales conversation you will ever have in your life, okay? It's just like a total no-brainer for that person to go, holy crap, I'm feeling amazing. This is the best I've felt in years. My back's feeling great. Not only that, but I'm less stressed. I'm feeling stronger. I can do a push-up now. Like all of these things, why would I stop? Why would I stop? And you can have that conversation. Say, hey, Mary, do you want to keep feeling like this? Do you like how you're feeling right now? Would you like to keep feeling like this? Or would you like to go back to feeling how you were feeling before you started? Well, why don't we keep going with the sessions? What do you say? Oh, yeah, I love the sessions. Okay, great. So we'll just keep you going. We'll apply that $300 as a credit. So you'll get the next 6 weeks for free. And then after that, we'll bill you at $49 a week, and we'll bill that every 4 weeks. Coolio? So that is how you sign people up to a long-term membership. Now, so what you're basically doing is you are giving them that first 6 weeks for free. It is literally for free because you're applying that $300 as a credit if they come to all the sessions to their first 6 weeks of ongoing sessions, right? So you are giving them that first 6 weeks for free. But in exchange for giving them that 6 weeks for free, you get a client who is a convert, someone who has drunk your Kool-Aid, someone they've seen the light, they've had a Damascene conversion, they're like, OMFG, this Pilates shit really freaking works. This is amazing. Everybody should be doing this. I can't believe I haven't been doing this before. Like, dear listener, you've had this experience, right? Presumably, that's why you are in this game, because you had this conversion at some point, right? So that 6 weeks, the $300 they invest that they don't want to lose, buys you the opportunity to gift them this experience, right? Because they get that conversion, they get that aha moment by doing the work, right? If they show up twice a week for 6 weeks, they feel freaking amazing. All right. So you sell them the $300 thing. They do the 6 weeks. If they do all the work, they get their $300 back, or they could apply that $300 as a credit to the next 6 weeks. And why wouldn't they? Okay, so I promise you'll have like a 90 to 100% conversion of people who do all the sessions. Now, the people who don't do all the sessions, they probably won't convert, right? One, they won't get the $300 back, right? But two, they won't get the transformation, right? They won't have that, oh my God, this is amazing, because I didn't do all the work, so they don't get the benefits, right? So this is why your incentives are wholly aligned with the client's incentives in this situation, because they want to do all the sessions because they want to get their $300 back. Okay. And you want them to do all the sessions because you know if they do all the sessions, they're going to have a transformation. They're going to go, I want to keep doing this long term, right? And then you get a long-term client and you get to make the world a better place, one client at a time. So I think this is truly a brilliant offer. I learned it from Alex Hormozy and Cale Owen. I didn't make it up, but I think it's fantastic. They use it all over the world in fitness centers. It works like clockwork. It's fantastic. I think you should definitely give it a go if this is something you're interested in. All right. So then what do you do in those, so when Mary continues on, right? Just same time, same day, right? So you've got Mary and her 3 friends doing those 6 weeks to get rid of your back pain, do every session, you get your money back. And then they all just continue on at the same time, right? So they're like Mondays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Great. Just keep them at that time. Keep them going. $49 a week. Set up a direct debit from their credit card or bank account or whatever, and bill them once every 4 weeks. Okay. And then what do you do in those sessions once they go on? Well, you've already helped them with their back pain, right? Well, what do? You just keep doing Pilates. That's all you've been doing anyway. You've just been doing regular old Pilates, just all of the Pilates things that you normally do. So you just keep doing that. And why do they stay now? They've already got rid of their back pain. Well, all of those other benefits, right? All of those things that we said at the start probably aren't the best way to get people in, but those are the reasons why people end up staying, okay? For the increased energy, and they'll be more flexible, and they'll feel stronger, and they'll feel like they're standing straighter, and they'll feel better mentally. They'll feel happier, and they'll make friends in the group. They'll find social support with the people that you work with, that they work with. This will be like all of you, dear listeners, you've had this experience presumably, so the reasons they come are not the same reasons they stay, but they won't come for those sort of longer term benefits because they're not as urgent and motivating a force, right? Saying to people all of this, you'll feel more energy, all this, it's not as motivating as it is when you're lying on the couch and you literally can't move because of your back pain. That is motivating. So that's why we need to appeal to a single urgent problem to get people interested. And then once we get them interested, then we show them all of these amazing additional benefits that you get from Pilates, which actually end up becoming, in many cases, more important to that person over time. But you don't get them there unless you get them in the door. So that's why I think this is a fantastic setup. All right, so once you get them in the door, then we're doing a twice-a-week session. It's $49 a week, debited every 4 weeks, $196 every 4 weeks. It's a month-to-month rolling agreement. They can cancel at any time. There's no penalty for cancelling. There's no joining fee. There's nothing like that. It's just flat, straight, $49 a week, 2 sessions a week. So that ends up at $24.50 per session. Now, these sessions, I want to emphasize, they're at the same set day and time each week. So this isn't a casual drop in, you can book different time each week or any of that. This is your sessions, Mary, are Mondays and Thursdays, 6 p.m. Those are your sessions, right? So if you miss Monday at 6 p.m., you can't come Tuesday at 6 p.m. Like your session is Monday at 6 p.m. That's your session. Tuesday at 6 p.m. is someone else's session. You can't just make up you haven't paid me for 2 sessions per week. You've paid me for these specific 2 sessions per week. So those are your sessions. Now, why do we do it like that? 2 reasons. One, when people are held accountable to specific sessions, they are more likely to show up. And there's decent research on this. And there's a bunch of reasons for that. One is just like it takes the choice out of it, right? I mean, we all know that the hardest thing about exercising is not actually doing it. It's actually making the choice to do it. Once you get there, it's easy, right? But the hard thing is going like, I could maybe exercise tomorrow instead. Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. Mañana. So when we take the choice out of it, it makes it easier. Second thing is they start to feel accountable to their group members. Okay, those 3 other people in that 4-person group, they start to feel accountable to those people and they start to look forward to seeing those people. It becomes a social occasion because the group sticks together. It's always the same people and they've been on this journey together. They've alleviated their back pain together. They've got stronger together. They've done their first push-up together. They've done their first teaser together. And now they have a sense of camaraderie and, they probably go out for smoothies or coffees after class, so the fixed sessions per week will massively enhance your attendance and retention of those clients. They'll stay longer because they'll come, and when they come, they'll experience the benefits, and whilst they experience the benefits, they won't want to stop. The predictor of someone stopping is when they stop coming to sessions. So we want to keep them coming to sessions, so therefore lock them in to 2 fixed sessions per week, and it's not a casual situation. The other thing is this just allows you to maximize your utilization, right? So you will be able to basically have 80% or more of your sessions full, except for the person who's got the flu every now and then or whatever, because you lock people into specific times each week. Right, so that is definitely what I would do, is lock people into set times each week, and it's surprisingly easy. It's not a difficult thing because remember, you've sold them this 6-week program that's Mondays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. or whatever day at whatever time, okay, but it's the same time 2 days a week. And they've done that for 6 weeks, right? So they're free on those days at that time. And it's like, okay, should we just keep going at the same day, same time? Easy choice, right? So whatever arrangements they need to make vis-a-vis child minding or work or whatever, they've already sorted that out. So it's like it's easy, okay? We know they can do this time, so let's just make this the time that we do each week. All right, so you just keep doing Pilates with them, and then I'm going to suggest that once a month, so maybe the first week of every calendar month, you do a results and goal setting session. So that would just be, hey, like what are the goals that you're working towards? Okay, first 6 weeks it was your back pain. Okay, but after that it might be like, hey, I want to do my first push up or my first pull up. I want to touch my toes. I want to do the splits. I want to run a marathon. I want to whatever, right? I want to do teaser on the long box. Whatever ask the client what their goal is. What would they like to, if they could set a goal and work towards it, what would they like to achieve? And you can make some suggestions, but it's going to be much more motivating for them when they choose the goal. So they can choose a goal and you can help them, like if they say, hey, I want to do my first pull up, and you're looking and they're like, 400 pounds and haven't exercised in 20 years, you're like, okay, well, that might be more than 4-week goal. Okay. We can definitely achieve that for you, but it's going to, we're not going to achieve it in 4 weeks. So let's make a smaller interim goal that's going to work you towards that goal. Okay. Or if they say, I want to run a marathon and they've never run more than 50 yards, it's not a 4-week goal. You're going to have to break it up into smaller goals. But I don't want to go into goal setting today because that's, again, a whole nother topic. But setting goals and then measuring their achievement of those, and then using their program to work towards those goals, right? So if Mary's goal, now that she's got rid of her back pain, is to do her first pull-up, well, write her program around doing a whole bunch of pulling exercises so she gets stronger and she can do a pull-up, right? Do a whole bunch of, assisted pull-ups with a band, pull-ups on the long box, on the pulleys, on the reformer, pull-ups on the Cadillac, whatever apparatus you've got, and I'll talk about apparatus in a moment. Work towards that goal, right? So that gives you something to focus on in the sessions. Again, that's highly motivational for Mary because she can see a direct link between what she's doing in the sessions and what she wants to achieve for herself. And then every 4 weeks, you just do a result session. Like, okay, Mary, how are you going with your pull-up? Let's see what percent, how much of a pull-up you can do now. Okay, let's measure that. You can do half a pull-up, or you can do a pull-up with a red band. Now, last month you needed a green band, and now you only need a red band. That's awesome. So you measure those results, and that is highly motivational because people can see themselves progressing. And then you set a new goal. Okay, so what's our goal for this month? Okay. Oh, our goal for this month is to get from the red band to the black band. Fantastic. Okay, let's work on that this month. Okay, so that becomes and that doesn't have to be that's not even the whole session, right? It might be just like a 5-minute convo at the start of the session where you go, okay, Mary, show me your pull up. Okay, what goal do you want this month? Great. Okay, let's work on that. And then you just go around. There's only 4 people in your session, so you can do that, while Mary's having that convo with you, or maybe everyone sits around together and does it. I don't know, might be motivational. You'll work out the group dynamics yourself. So every first week of the month is a results and goal setting session. It's not the whole session. It's just the first few minutes of the session. And then the rest of the sessions are just plain old Pilates, but focused towards achieving that person's goal. Now, how should you run these sessions? What equipment should you use, etc.? Well, it really doesn't matter what equipment you use in terms of how much you can charge or what results you can get people. You can get people amazing results and charge the same price on a mat as you can on a Cadillac with a fully equipped studio. If you prefer to work on a Cadillac, that's great. If you prefer to work on a mat, that's great too. Neither one is inherently better or worse. You can use all kinds of things like TRXs and BOSUs and spring walls and whatever equipment you like is great. Okay, I don't have a view, but where it will be important, and I've found this, and this has been shown again and again in the gym world, is that your equipment shouldn't be the limitation. The goal of your equipment is it's there as an enabler of your business, right? Of your clients to achieve their results and of you to achieve your business results. Now, your clients can achieve their results on the mat or on a spring wall or on a pull-up bar or on the Cadillac or on a reformer or on all of the above. Your business, however, can't necessarily achieve the same results with any piece of equipment. Now, if you are teaching, remember we're talking here about teaching from home. If you're teaching out of your basement or your garage or your spare room, right, and you've got just say you're teaching out of a bedroom, right, a spare bedroom. I'm recording this in a spare bedroom right now. And as I look around this, what I would consider to be an average sized bedroom, okay, I'm thinking how could I get 4 clients in this room plus me at the same time, right? So, and it's like this room is probably, 10 feet by 14 feet, something like that, I'm going to guess. Okay, it's not a very big room. You could put 2 Cadillacs in here or 2 reformers in here, but then you actually wouldn't be able to walk into the room because they'd take up the entire floor space of the room. So if we had 2 Cadillacs in here, we couldn't fit any clients in here. So if I put 4 clients in, I picture in my mind, I put 4 clients plus me in this room and the clients are working out. Okay. What equipment can I fit in here? Well, I might fit, 1 reformer. Okay. But what I would much rather have would be some spring walls, just a bit of plywood on the wall with some springs, hooks attached to it with some springs, maybe like 2 or 3 of those, a TRX, a pull-up bar, a mat, that we could move around on the floor into different spaces, maybe with a baby barrel, something to go with it. Maybe a reformer with a tower. not all of this, but maybe, these are options. Maybe a reformer with a tower, because with a reformer with a tower, you can have one person on the reformer and a second person working off the tower end. And so I like a reformer with a tower because it's the same footprint as a reformer, but you can actually get two people working on it. Whereas on a reformer without a tower, you can only have one person working on that. So, those are some thoughts, but basically, I think that probably the mental shift that I had to make to really sort of grasp this, and maybe it's going to be the same for you, is the goal. You don't start with the equipment, right? So we used to think in terms of, I've done my Cadillac course, therefore I need to teach on the Cadillac. I think that's the wrong way of thinking about it. If your goal is to serve people and make $100,000 a year in your spare bedroom. Now, if you've got a ginormous studio and you've got all the space in the world, great, get a Cadillac. They're freaking awesome. I love Cadillacs. I've got one myself. But if you're teaching out of a bedroom or a basement or a garage that, is small, right? The difference between 3 clients in a space and 4 clients in a space is 33% extra income, right? So if you go from 4 clients in a space and you go, you know what, I can only fit 3, but 3 is almost 4. Well, instead of $100,000 a year, you're going to make $75,000 a year, right? So your choice to put a Cadillac in that room and instead of an extra client, okay, is going to cost you 1/4 of your revenue. Or if you upgrade from 3 to 4, it's an extra 33%, right? So it's very significant. So if you can figure out a way. Now, if you've got a bedroom, I'm talking about, or whatever room, right? Take everything out of the room. So no shelves, no seats, no benches, no drinking fountains, no nothing, right? It's just an exercise space. Put spring walls up, get a mat, get a baby barrel, get a TRX, get some hand weights, get a chin-up bar, get maybe a reformer, or maybe a wall unit, like a Cadillac, the end of a Cadillac that goes on a wall. It's got a push-through bar and whatever. So get some stuff that is very small. I think chairs are pretty good also, like the Pilates Wonder chair, because they take up a pretty small footprint and you can do a whole bunch of stuff on them. You can move them around the room if they get in the way and stuff. So figure out, how can I have 4 workstations? Okay, someone on the TRX and someone else on the spring wall, someone on the mat and someone on the chair. Do kind of put the puzzle pieces together in your mind. Would that fit in this room? Figure out how to get 4 people in the room. Okay. Or you could do just 4 spring walls. Okay, really easy. And then you can do a class where everyone does the same moves together, right? Or just 4 mats, right? With 4 fit balls or whatever, or 4 chairs. Okay. So you can teach, the 4 people the same thing, or you can teach everybody their own different program. And that's going to depend on, how you've been trained and what skill set you have. I'm a fan actually of giving everybody the same program, and then just give people 10 minutes at the end to work on their individual goal. So if Mary's working on pull-ups, she can do pull-ups. And if, John's working on whatever, he can do that, push-ups or whatever, hamstring stretches. Okay. But basically 90% of the class, everyone does it together. Or it could just be hey, here are our 4 goals. Mary's wants to do pull-ups, John wants to do hamstring stretching. Someone else wants to do push-ups, someone else wants to do the splits, okay? Well, those are the things we got to do in class every week, right? So everyone's going to do pull-ups, everyone's going to do the splits, everyone's going to stretch their hamstrings. So that could be a way that you could run it as well. So it's up to you, how you run that format. But I like just doing it as a group. Everyone does the same exercises together. So if it was me, I would get 4 spring walls, 4 mats, and maybe 4 chairs, okay? The chairs are optional. They're really expensive. Spring walls are cheap as chips. If I didn't have the money, I wouldn't get the chairs until later. But I think chairs are fun. So it's totally up to you. But I would just get 4 of the same thing. Okay. And if I got 4 spring walls and 4 mats, I'd probably also get 4 TRXs or 4 pull-up bars, because pull-up bars and TRXs literally take up 0 floor space. You can just tie the TRXs off to the wall. The pull-up bars are above head height, so they don't take up any floor space and they add extra options. And I would probably get some dumbbells or kettlebells that I could stick right up against the wall in a rack maybe, that people could use, to add more resistance or, use different things for. So that would be my setup. You choose your setup, but I think the biggest key thing is, how can you think, rather than like, what equipment have I got? What equipment do I want to use? Think, how can I get 4 people in this room working out plus me, right? And then design it around that, around the functionality rather than the equipment. All right. Now, if you think, no, but I love my Cadillac. It's like, well, is the Cadillac worth $25,000 of income to you? Right? Would you pay $25,000 a year? Okay. What is that? $2,500 a month? 25,000 divided by 12 equals $2,083 a month. Would you pay me $2,083 a month to have a Cadillac in your studio? That sounds like a bad deal. I wouldn't give you $2,083 to have a Cadillac. Like, you could buy a freaking Cadillac for 2 months of that. So I wouldn't pay that. I don't think you should pay it. If you want, it's up to you. You're your own person. But I think it's important to understand that, that extra person, going from 3 people in the room to 4 people in the room is $25,000 a year, right, in this model. All right. Now, if you're only talking about 2 people in the room, forget it. This really doesn't work. So we need to squeeze 4 people into that room. And so you need to get ingenious. Like, if it's a bedroom, if it's got a built-in closet, take out the doors, use the closet space as exercise space, or use it to store the, dumbbells or whatever, or the baby barrels. Okay. You figure out how to squeeze 4 people into that room working out at the same time. That is your challenge. All right. So basically, you run that challenge, you on-sell those people to that Pilates session, you teach them Pilates, you work on their goals. Every month you do a results and goal setting session, and then you just do it again, right? So you get another 4 people at another, different time, instead of Mondays and Thursdays at 6, you do like Mondays and Thursdays at 6:45. Okay. When that session finishes. And I advocate 45-minute sessions because I think you can get a fantastic workout in 45-minute sessions in 45 minutes. And when you run 45-minute sessions, you can run 3 sessions in the evening peak. So the evening peak, mostly goes from like 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Okay. Depends on how far from the city you are. Like if you're further out from the city, it'll start a bit later and finish a bit later. If you're closer into the city, you'll start a bit earlier and finish a bit earlier. But, let's say roughly 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Okay. So you've got kind of like 2 hours-ish there. If you run a 5:30 class, and if you run like 1 hour classes, you can get 2 classes in, a 5:30 class and a 6:30 class. If you run 45-minute classes, okay, you can get a 5:30, a 6:15 and a 7, and that finishes at 7:45. And that's not going to be a deal breaker for a lot of people. We ran 7:45 classes in the city for a decade at my studio. They were 7 p.m. classes that finished at 7:45. They were very popular, except for Thursdays, which was for some reason never popular at that time. But Monday, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, they were great. So yeah, if you're further out in the suburbs, that is probably going to work really well for you. Or you could start a bit earlier, 5:15, 6 o'clock, 6:45, finishing at 7:30. So when you run 45-minute sessions instead of 1 hour sessions, you add an extra session, right? So you're running 3 sessions instead of 2, which is a 50% increase in capacity, right? So in that 2 hours, right, you're seeing 3 groups of 4 people instead of 2 groups of 4 people. Right? You have increased your ability to earn money by 50% by shaving 15 minutes off each class if you're running 1 hour classes. All right. So I think you can get an amazing workout in 45 minutes. I've done it a bazillion times myself. I've seen other people do it a bazillion times. I'm 100% certain you can get an amazing workout, give an amazing workout in 45 minutes. And remember, these people know the routine. They come every week, twice a week. They know the exercises. You know their body, you know their personality. They know what you're looking for. So there should be very little wasted effort and time with setup and instructions. Like, they should know the routine. So you can get a lot done in 45 minutes. All right. So you're running 45-minute sessions. Now at 40 clients, okay, so you run the first session, Mondays and Thursdays at 6 or whatever time. You get another 4 people and you do them Mondays and Thursdays at like 5:15. Okay. And then you get another 4 people and you run them Mondays and Thursdays at 6:45, right? So now you've got 3 back-to-back sessions, Monday and Thursday, 5:15 to 6, 6 to 6:45, 6:45 to 7:30. Okay. And then you just keep rinsing and repeating. You just get another 4 people and you put them in the mornings and you get another 4 people and you put them on Tuesdays and Fridays and you get another 4 people and you put them, So you fill out your week. And by the time you are doing 25 sessions per week, okay, so each person is doing 2 sessions and you are teaching a total of 25 sessions per week with actually an average of 3.2 people in the session. So we're assuming that not all the sessions are always full. Okay, that is $2,548 a week or $100,000 per year, a bit over $100,000 per year. So that is 40 clients, right? You've got 40 clients coming twice a week, $49 a week, debited every 4 weeks, $196, $100,000 per year. Okay, so you are now teaching 25 sessions per week. You're probably doing admin maybe like 10 hours per week, customer service, whatever stuff, okay? There's not a lot because people just stay in the same sessions, okay? But you're talking to people on the phone, they have difficulties, they need to change to a different day because their kids' piano lessons are now changed or whatever. So, there'll be a little bit of admin involved, but the majority of the time you'll be teaching and you'll have stable long-term clients because these people are bought in, they've got a routine, they're connected to their small group of compatriots that they're working with, their comrades, and their classmates. And you've got a great business. You're making $100,000 a year. Your costs are essentially zero, just like your spare bedroom and a couple of spring walls and a TRX. Okay. Bam. there is your business. So, I said, I'm not going to talk a lot about lead generation, and I'm not, but I just want to give you one quick and dirty way to get started on this to get your first group up and running. And that would be, because remember the whole premise here of getting people in the door is we're solving a highly specific and painful problem for them, which is debilitating back pain. So I'm sure you've seen this on social media or maybe even on a signpost, on a street corner while you're waiting for the traffic lights to change. It's just a really simple post, and you've seen it a whole bunch of times because it works. And it just says, I'm looking for 4 people who want to get rid of their back pain in the next 42 days. DM me or call me on this number or however they contact you. That's it. I'm looking for 4 people, because you literally are. You're looking for 4 people who want to get rid of their back pain in the next 42 days, because 42 days is 6 weeks. Okay. Then how do they contact you? Phone this number, DM me, email this address, whatever. Okay. That's all you say, right? You don't tell them it's Pilates. You don't tell them it's a spring wall. You don't tell them what your qualifications are. They don't care. You tell them, I want to help. I'm looking for people who have this problem and who want to get rid of this problem, right? You're talking about them, not about you. I'm looking for 4 people who want to get rid of their back pain in the next 42 days. Contact me this way. And, where would you put that? Well, you put it on social media. You can literally put it on the signpost on the street corner. You can put it at the local community hall. You can put it at the local chiropractors. You can put it at the local massage therapist. You can give it to the local personal trainer, florist, fashion boutique, wherever you can get it up. And of course, the more people you can show that message to, the more likely you will get a response, because you're going to get some percentage of people who will respond. And I don't know what the percentage is. Might be 1%, might be 0.5%, whatever, right? But let's just say it's 1% of people respond to it, because that's a nice, easy number. Well, you've got to show it to 100 people, right, to get one person to respond, right? Now, if you've got 500 followers on social media and you post it, not all those 500 followers will see that post, right? Probably only 50 of them will see the post, right? So you're probably not going to get much of a response. So now you showed it to 50. Well, you've got to show it to another 50 somewhere else. Or maybe you've got to post it again on social media, and maybe it'll get shown to a different 50 people. Okay. So you've got to get that message in front of enough people so that the very small percentage of the population who right at this instant have debilitating back pain and it's so bad that they're ready to do something about it, okay, and have already tried chiropractic and massage and physical therapy and all those other things, right? They're like at their wits' end pulling their hair out and they're going, oh, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And then they see like a message from heaven, okay, your little thing saying, I'm looking for 4 people who want to get rid of their back pain in the next 42 days. Call me on this number, right? You're looking for a very specific person. So you have to, they're only a small subset of the population. Okay. So 84% of the adult population have back pain at some point, but they don't all have it at the same time. Okay. So of everyone in the world, I don't know what number, but some very small percentage have debilitating back pain right now. Okay. And of the people within a, 3-mile radius of your house, how many of those people have debilitating back pain right now? You only need 4, right? There definitely are 4, but how do you find them? We just have to, it's a numbers game. You have to show your message to enough people that you will, the small number of people who are waiting for that message with bated breath will see it. Okay. Or maybe someone will go, oh, that's what my sister needs, what my friend needs, what my mum needs. Okay. Maybe they'll see that and know it's for somebody else. Okay. So you just have to put that in front of enough people, and you can do that on social media. You can do it literally on signposts. You can do it on, the message board at the local community centre, swimming centre. Use your network basically. Okay. Use a bit of ingenuity, a bit of shoe leather, and you will get that message out there. And don't be discouraged if you make a single post on social media and no one calls you. Make more posts, put it in your stories, do it every day for 2 weeks, and put it out in the real world as well. Because on social media, remember, you might have 500 followers, but how many of them live within a 3-mile radius of you? Okay. And if you're talking about, you're thinking about starting a from-home Pilates studio, well, no one's going to come to your Pilates studio if they live 20 miles away or 50 miles away or on a different continent. So they have to target your market, right? So if you've got 500 followers on social media, well, probably only a handful of those are actually like geographically in the right place to be your clients. So you're probably best off, unless you've got a very large social media following, okay, like 5,000 plus sort of thing. You probably do it on social media for sure, but probably best off also doing it in real life, and, print out a whole bunch on your home printer. Doesn't have to be pretty. You don't need a logo. You don't need pretty colors. It can be literally just, Arial font, black on a white background. I'm looking for 4 people who want to get rid of their back pain in the next 42 days. Call this number. All right, dear listener, I hope that was helpful for you. I'd love to know your thoughts. You can reach me by DM on Instagram, and my Instagram details are in the show notes. I'd love to know if that was helpful, not helpful, if you have questions. We didn't cover lead generation. We didn't cover how to do goal setting. We didn't cover like the nitty-gritty of how to help people with back pain. Sorry. One thing I actually said I would help you talk about, which I haven't yet, is the homework. And so just really briefly, the homework is just something that is not exercise related that is going to contribute to their recovery from back pain. And so those are things that like stress, sleep, diet, meaningful time with loved ones, relaxation. Yeah, just doing like basically what we would call like things that nourish the soul, okay? Things that enhance human flourishing. Basically what I would do would be with the client on the first day before we started, I would say, okay, dear client, exercise is massively helpful for back pain, and Pilates is the most effective exercise for back pain. But exercise is not the only thing that is needed to resolve back pain. We also need to address other dimensions of your life. And so, different people are different, and, each of us has a different set of factors that might be contributing. But for all of us, there's some combination of stress, sleep, relaxation time, quality time with loved ones, time in nature, just spend time having fun, good diet, engaging in like meaningful social interactions. Okay. And for you, dear client, as I list off those things, is there anything that leaps out at you where you think like, oh yeah, that's really an issue for me? Like if it's sleep or if it's, whatever. And most of the time people go, oh yeah, my sleeping's terrible at the moment, or I'm really stressed at the moment, or I'm working really hard and I don't have any relaxation time, whatever. And so that becomes the homework, right? So if it's sleep that is they've identified as their, most important kind of stressor, well, you just make a plan with them about how they're going to improve their sleep. Not make it perfect, just make it a bit better. How can we go from terrible to not that great? Okay. Or how can we go from not that great to average? Okay. Or how can we go from average to pretty good? Okay. How can we dial it, improve it by one notch? Okay. And ask them, okay, what do you think would be a strategy? You could go to bed early, you could get up later, you could stop coffee later in the day, you could stop answering your emails after midnight. There are lots of strategies people can use to improve sleep. Ask them what they think is the best one. Devote 15 minutes a week to it, okay? And then you'll hold them accountable, okay? Or if it's like stress, maybe they might like, what do people do for stress? Well, they could meditate, they could take a bath, they could take a walk in nature, they could play with a dog, they could have a meaningful conversation with someone they care about. All of these things reduce stress, okay? For some people, it's cooking, okay? Whatever it is for that person that is most going to be valuable to them. And you just go, okay, your goal is to spend 15 minutes walking your dog this week, or your goal is to spend 15 minutes baking a cake this week, or whatever, okay, whatever they've identified. And likewise, if it's, time with loved ones or whatever. So basically their homework is they identify, okay, you might prompt them with a list of things that can contribute to back pain, and that would be stress, sleep, anxiety, financial pressure, lack of relaxation time, poor diet, just all of the things that make you run down, basically, right? And they get to identify, oh yeah, I think that one's the biggest thing for me. And then you just work with them and go, okay, what would be one strategy you could implement in like 10 to 15 minutes a week that would not solve that for all time and world peace, right? But just make it a little bit better. Okay. How could we just make that a little bit less of a stressor for you? Okay. Still a stressor, but maybe just a little bit less of a stressor. And they'll come up with a strategy. If they can't come up with a strategy, you can give them some suggestions. Like I've just given you some suggestions, like you could stop caffeine, before 10 p.m. and whatever, stop working on your emails, get to bed earlier, etc. Take the TV out of your bedroom, all of those things. Bake a cake, go for a walk with a dog, those things, right? So and then you ask them, okay, here are some suggestions. What do you think? Okay. And then they'll tell you something and you say, okay, that is your homework. And I'm going to ask you about that very first thing when you walk in the session on Monday at 6 p.m. I'm going to say, Mary, tell me about your homework. Did you spend 15 minutes baking a cake? Show me the photo. All right. And that becomes part of their homework, and that's part of the condition of them getting their $300 back. All right. So, dear listener, we didn't cover a lot of stuff. Like, if Mary wants to do her first pull-up, like how do you program to get someone their first pull-up? How to set up direct debits? And how to program all of those classes, like if you're teaching 25 classes a week. But the good news is, you only need to program 2 classes a week because all of your clients only come to 2 classes a week, right? So you can do the same 2 classes like 13 times a week each, right? And then, it's easy. You don't have to program 2 classes a week. So I think that's super easy. And we didn't cover lead generation, although we did talk about just getting your first few clients in the door. Lead generation, if this is a popular episode, if I get some good feedback about this, we'll do an episode on lead generation, how to get people, to inquire about your services, how to get people, how to get your message in front of people. But yeah, that is what I would do if I was starting from scratch and I wanted to make $100,000 a year teaching Pilates in my spare room. That is what I would do. All right. I hope that helps. I'd love to hear from you on social media. See ya.